It's next day and it's time to do the next stage. This is all set off really well and it's good and solid. The next stage is to add this front part, which has the two little spaces for magnets. Don't know if that shows. Two little round holes. That's going to go in the front with the magnet holes facing backwards. And there's an upper plate here which fits on just across here. So let's do that. Let's do that back one first. So it's really just glue along these edges. It's only held on to the edges here. I think the worst thing about doing these kits is all the waiting around for the glue to set. If you're at all impatient about things, this is not the set for you. Actually, you want the glue on the inside of those pieces. I just realised. Oh well, little splodge of glue in the wrong place, it won't hurt. I'll just wipe it off after. So let's put that in there. I can put a little bit of glue there as well, can't I? Just where it's touching that back plate, because I think this requires as much sort of support as possible in these sort of joints. Okay. Then that's fitted in. And let's have a look. That fits on the back of that and the inside of that. Okay, so a little bit of glue along there. Actually, yeah, it's got a notch. Glue along there. It fits on the back of that. On the back of that. And on the inside of that bit there, and on that bit there. Okay. We're certainly not going to use very much glue in this kit. It's so the parts are so small. Just make sure I'm getting the rings at the back. And this goes in here. Some of these parts need a bit of a sort of springy push, you know, a bit of persuading. And in some of these parts, I think, like here, it's quite difficult to get that to go exact. So, in these sort of cases, I'm just going to put a little bit of blue tape, just to hold these sections into place. Just to help hold everything into place. Let's fold this down here. And I'm quite prepared to, you know, let that go off for a couple of hours before we carry on that. So that's that section on the front and that section on the top there. Next page, page 15, and in this case we're putting all the formers that will support the body of the plane, of the fuselage. Now I've already cut these out because I'm beginning to get a bit like Blue Peter. Here's one I cut out earlier. So these are the 4 pieces. Let's dry fit them. So they go literally in these 4 slots. That's easy. Oh yeah, they're all good fits. Oop, that one's plain hard to get. There we go. And I think the thing is to make certain they're bolt upright. How far does that go down? That goes all the way down as well. There we go. And that one rests against, has to rest against that upright there. So those are the 4 pieces. Quite excited to see how this looks with it when it's got all the body on. So let's put some glue on these and just fit these. And then we can let that set off a bit before we go on to the next stage. So that's the first piece. Glue sometimes feels like it acts a bit like a lubricant to help these go on. Next one. Just trying to make certain these are pretty much upright as I go. And there is a thing in the instruction manual that literally says sort of make certain you dry fit everything first. There's quite a lot of emphasis on dry fitting things, and I think that's a really good idea with any sort of kit. First thing is to make certain you got all the bits, and the next thing is during construction to dry fit before you commit to glue. So this is going to be glue down the sides here in the slot, and then a little bit on this back plane here. And again, this might be another place where I might use a little bit of blue tape just to help hold things into place. Oh no, that's holding on nicely, as you can see. So that's that bit done, and for that we now have to be patient and wait. Yeah, pretty happy with that. They're very, very accurately cut, these. The next thing is it calls for is to sand the rear of this down to a bevel. So bevel the rear part of the fuselage here. That shouldn't take too long to do. Cue time lapse while I do more sanding. I think the worst bit is because it's so flexible, this stuff, when it's unsupported. It's actually difficult to get even bevels because it's just flopping around like a wet noodle. Getting there. No, that's not too bad. Let's try here. It's all this, you know, trying to support it at the rear. This is something it suggests to do rather than says you must do. But hey, in for a penny. This is way more construction than virtually anything I've ever built before that flies. Most things I've had have been like pre-molded parts. I think the only thing I've had that's been all flat plates that you have to put together has been that cub, and that's very simple. Minimum RC cub. I think that's the only thing. Right, so there's a bevel on the end. I'm not going to take it right down to thin. So what have we got to do? We need to apply P3, glue that on, and put a sticker over the top of it. I suppose that covers it up. And there's little marks on here which indicate the bend marks. So that becomes your hinge, one of your hinges I expect for your rudder. Okay. Okay. So it's halfway up here. Put a little spot of glue on. And attach P3. Plastic 3. Again, not putting too much glue on. The more glue, the longer it takes to set, not necessarily the stronger it is. So we'll put that on, and the idea is to line up the mark with the end of the bevel, like that. Oops. Glues, they just hate them. Okay. Because if that's a rudder, it's going to work in that plane, so it has to stick with those little lines over it. I think I'm going to let that set a little bit before I do the sticker on the top. And then this is your back wheel. So the idea is to fold it over so you get a wheel both sides. Glue everything up to there, and then this part goes either side and lines up with that. It doesn't give an exact indication where that should line up, but I suspect they printed that, so I'm gonna use that as like a reference and sort of align it to the back of that. That sort of makes sense in my mind. See if there's anything on the next page. No, but it looks about right. So let's get a bit of glue on that to stick it together. In this case, because it's important, I'm actually going to, it's important that these parts stay together. I'm going to make certain it's got the glue on. Now I am going to use the contact method, so I'm going to let that set off for a little while and then put it together. So we'll leave that just to dry off. Okay, that's long enough. Only seconds for you, but minutes for me. That's dried enough so when I put this together, it acts like in contact adhesive mode. That will stay together now. Right. Next bit is just to, and notice I haven't glued the top of this. You think I had, the way it's holding together. It's just pressure. Let's see. So I'll just put my tweezers through there if I can. Right, just to hold that, put a spot of glue on this. It's got enough springiness, it's just going to hold. So we'll just put a spot of glue on that. And on that. Let's use something underneath that. What can I use that's handy? Ah yes, my teacup. And we'll just get that either side of that. Lovely. Line that up. Give that a little squish. And then it's blue tape time. Just to hold this side against it, and we'll do the same on this side just to make certain that it doesn't fall down like that. And then we're going to have to wait again for that to set off before we can do anything past that, but that looks nice. Nice little scale looking wheel, even if it is profile. And while that's setting off, I think we can do that sticker now. This is set enough to allow us to do a sticker. So that was S2, sticker S2 I believe, yep. And with the, it's got a notch, yes. Gosh, it's got everything is set. It's got a notch cut into it. Oh, it's not easy to get off. There we are. Got a little tiny notch. I don't know if you can see that little notch at the top. And that tells you which way up that's to go and where to align the sticker. Annoyingly, it goes over the blue sticker a little bit, so I'll deal with that after. No, that's not good. Ooh, that sticker's strong. If you got this, yep. The notch is not in the middle, and the sticker's really strong. You want to make certain the sticker covers a little bit of plastic entirely. That way, when the rudder goes on, it's pretty much covered. They thought of everything. Okay, so we have the rudder hinge, we have the wheel. It looks like a cartoon fish bones of a plane. So these are the 4mm magnets supplied. I think they're the 4 ones. Let's have a quick look. Yep, 4mm. These go in these slots here and get covered by the stickers, so we don't need to glue them in, which is good. What I'm going to use is a little trick with these. When you've got really tiny magnets, you want to make certain they all go in the same way, really, so you don't have problems with them later. So if you've got enough of them, you can use them like a handle for the rest. So I've actually got some 3mm as well, which are for the front. So if you slot them in, I don't know if I can do this for the camera, if you slot it into the hole and then slide it off, you've got a chance of it staying right. And this one hasn't worked because it's decided to put 2 in there rather than 1. Oh well, let's pull them out. Oh, in fact it's put 3 in there. Oh well, we've got 1 in there. Right, and now we've got 1 in there. It only says put 1 in. Get a sticker off of here, which is an S1 sticker, which are white and white. Oh, these are so fine, these stickers. Right. And just put that over the top, and that holds it in place. And if I put that to the front there, that will bring it right up to the sticker. Desperately trying to get these. Now this is why I drop it. Well, trying to get the angle to it. Hey, I think I've got it in. I've got it in place just about. It's a bit over. Doesn't really matter if they're all the same way, as long as the one that's going to grab onto it is the correct direction. Right, there's that one, and you can use that just by offering them up. There's 1 sticker. Okay. Yep, that's holding, and they're quite strong. These are obviously those little niobium magnets. So that's that bit done. Magnets for the top hatch. Next bit is to stick. I think what I'm going to do is these 3 bits that get stacked on each other. I think I'm going to glue them together here and then glue them as one part onto there. That makes more sense to me. So we'll put some of that on. Oh, sticky. Use tweezers because my fingers are too big for this stuff, and I still managed to drop it. There we go. And we want to align the tops because these little notches it's got in the top here, when they're all together, when they're all together, that makes the little indentation for the even smaller 3mm magnets. I'm not sure if this was actually a good idea now, but we'll go for it anyway. Again, always lining these up at the top. Oh, stick really. I think what I'm going to do is actually push them down to the table like that. Move them again. If I'd use it like contact adhesive, in the contact way, there'd be no sliding around and no to get that to fit. Right, well, I didn't record it, but I just stuck those 3 pieces on the front and I've put the magnets in. I've also cut a little bit of the white part of the stickers off the side of the sheet just to stick over, because it didn't say do anything like that. I like it sort of finished. So I'm going to have to glue on everything from here backwards to here. Not here, because that's in the hole. So, and again, I'm not going to let it go contact, because I think I'm going to need a little bit of wiggle room to make this work. So I'm just putting a small bead down here. I wouldn't say that the build of this is the most enjoyable thing I've ever done. It's really, really at the edge of my comfort zone. I'm a bit cack-handed sometimes, and this is definitely on the edge of my ability to hold things sufficiently well. Let's try doing it that way, getting that in the front and then working our way. Yeah, that worked. That's in the slot there. Now that all seems to be in place. Everything's in its right place. Wow. I think I'm just going to hold this for a little while. Looks like I filleted a fish. As I said, that looked like fish bones in the cartoon. This looks like a fillet of fish. A fillet. Fillet. I think fillet is the sort of French way, really, to be honest, of saying it. I must say this is a very well thought out kit. If I put it that way, oh excellent, it can set that way. And see, this is just poking through the hole. That helps locate it forward and backwards. So well thought. And they give you a sticker here to cover that up, so you almost certainly won't see it once it's all done. The holes in here match up with the holes, or should do match up with the holes for the undercarriage. And a very nice little kit it is. It's another pause time. Let's stick some glue on this and get those front bits done and see how we go. And if it all works, I'll just do the other side rather than... I'm sure you're all getting extremely bored watching me glue things together. And then some at the very end here on the bevel we cut. Okay. Let's see how we do here. Important to hold that back right. And I'm just going to touch that like that. Just sticking a little bit, but more important is getting that front one correct. And I'm going to hold it on that front one. So I've got the front and the back all lined up with the body. I'm just going to hold them together. Right. Let's see if we can just touch these. See, now they're gripping. Looks okay. And now it's held down. I'm going to put a little bit of blue tape just around this front here to keep that in exactly the right place. Oops, and the tail has come apart there. That's not good, is it? Let's put a bit of tape on that as well. Try and hold that. So I think we're getting there. Unfortunately, because of this bit, I can't lay it on its side without maybe getting books or something. But they all seem to be holding in place okay. Yeah, we'll give that a little time to dry and set off. Then I'll do the other side. And I won't bore you with that, I'll just do that and we'll come back once that's all done. Okay, and we're back. Both sides are stuck, and I've also stuck in, after you've attached the sides, you then have to glue this to the front. And I had my first problem. These joints are put under a lot of stress, and this point here, the skin cracked. So I put a little bit of tape over that to stop that getting any worse. Hopefully it will hold. And with the other skins that will go around here, it shouldn't notice. Right, so it's becoming quite solid. Next bit, gluing the sides onto the undercarriage. So that's gluing this to this. Now I have noticed that you have to get this hole here to line up to this hole in the skin, and to do that you have to push that slightly forward so the top of this piece of plastic matches the score mark, and then you get a perfect fit. But I can see it does fit okay, so it's going to work. So I'm just going to put some glue on this bit here and push it together gently, then pull it apart, just like you see in all those motion RC things where they say pull it together and pull it apart and then push it together. Flanker Tanker, I'm thinking of you if you make it go stringy. Well, this is exactly the same thing with you, Paul. You make it go stringy. It's important that this gets into the right place, otherwise your undercarriage is going to be wonky. Right. It's a bit back, so we'll just pull it forward a little bit. Ooh. That's at the back of that. I want it a little bit further forward than that. That's better. The hole right in the middle of that. That's what I want. And since it's contact, it should stay there. You can see that very slight angle in that. And we'll do the same here. And again, the hole matched quite nicely there. Now that's stuck there. We'll put a bit of glue on the sides here and just do the same for this top bit here. But be careful not to get any actually in that hole. So that, and we'll just apply that to the back of this one. It's even got the notch. It's even got the notch here to go over that. I don't think there's anything in this plane that's not a little bit fiddly. And the next stage is to fit this piece over here. It goes from here over that. See, that's where we did a fold, and then it comes down here and curves around here like that. That's going to work just fine. Oops. Let's put a little spot of glue on. So that at the back. That's easy enough. That in the middle. and then this around the front. And again, it's a gentle curve, so I'm going to use a piece of tape at the front, or a piece of tape up here to hold it there. Piece of tape here to hold it to that side, and a piece of tape because it's popped up here because of the stress, because it has to go around an angle. We'll just pop a piece of tape on that and just pop that down like that, and that should hold that down. Okay, that's good, pretty good. Nice fit. And the final bit to finish off this underside piece are these. Now I'm not quite sure how they, oh, I can see how they fit. They fit over here like this, which is why we beveled the insides. And these will fit like this and finish off the undercarriage strakes, wheels, covers. Should finish them off really nicely, just like that. Just a little bit along that edge, down the main spar, and along the front of that. And we'll start at the, what should we do, front or back? Let's start at, is that the right one? Yes. I think I'll start at the back and just join that round. So we'll hold that in place. Piece of tape, so that's not going anywhere. And we'll hold that round like that. That's touching the middle piece, and then the other piece of tape on the front here to hold the front in place. That's going to look quite nice once it's all done. And there we are. That is a really strong undercarriage now. And at this point, we think that the work done on that so far is done. The rear elevator, and there's the stabilizer. Elevator and stabilizer there. Don't want to lose those magnets. You need them. Right, so this is, which way up is this? Is it the same on both sides? Looks the same both sides to me, and it's symmetrical, so that doesn't matter. And what about this? Well, that's got a slot in the indication. We have a slot on that side, so and there's the elevator control arm slot, and we have a carbon fibre rod, 1mm diameter by 1mm by 4mm by 160, so that's a square section, and that's going to be stuck to the front of that. Oh gosh, that's going to be fun. Let's see if I can find that. I think it's probably this piece. If you can see that. Let's see if it fits. All these pieces are supposed to be, well, that's too long for that, but it's probably giving you too much on purpose. That certainly looks right, and it is square section. Well, flat section. So I'm guessing that goes flat against that. I'm not sure. Yeah, it does fit. It does fit. It's 1mm, isn't it? So, gosh. Fitting that on the end of that is going to be fun. The only other piece of carbon fibre is this, and it's round, and that's definitely for the axle, front axle. So just trying to think how best to put this in place. What do you reckon? Piece of tape. Hope. I don't think there's a good way of doing this. I think just holding it on there. I know what we'll try. Let's put a piece of tape down, sticky side up, held down by two other pieces on either side. Bear with me, this may work, this may not. So I have a piece of tape on that side holding it down to the mat that way. I'm sure you're ahead of me on what I'm going to be doing. Hold that out flat. I want that flat. Now I can mount that just on the edge of that. And then hopefully I'll be able to... Now it is definitely rectangular in section. So hopefully I can push this up against that. And use something like that. Use a blade just to push it up against it. To stick it. That's going to work, I think. It's getting the glue to go to this. It's got to be, actually that end, those ends need fixing down so it doesn't warp. Right. This is oversized, so I can use this to hold it. Yeah. Put some glue on it. This problem solving as I go. Right. So I'm holding the stick this way. I don't know how well this is going to work, but we'll give it a go. Put some glue on this side. I thought things couldn't get any fiddlier with this model. I was wrong. Okay. I think I'm going to just gently wipe the biggest globules off. And then see if we can't put this down on the end here. I think it might work. Blimey. I think that worked. Now, let's just use the blade just to, on the back end of the blade, just to push it up against that. And hopefully we end up with a bit of carbon fibre flat blade attached to the edge of this. Wow! And since that's attached, you know what I'm going to do, don't you? I'm going to end up with two more bits of tape just to stop that coming away. Using my nail just to push that in. I ain't got much nails, but I've got enough to do that. Well, here we are. About 20 minutes later. Nobody's more surprised than me than that stuck on absolutely perfectly on the end. I've just used a pair of side cutters just to trim off the end bits. Right. I think I'll use my eye this way and just there through the hole. Okay, that's lined up on the hole. Okay. Again, they've got the halfway mark put on it, so to make it easier to pick up where to put them. I'm going to use my magnifying glasses so I can see better. Old eyes, I'm 60. Okay. There we go. If they're 6, and that can, and these just got to go towards the inside. Right, so if I put that in the middle, I'll put it lined up on that bar there. That makes sense to me. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's on the 5th. Right, mount. It doesn't say I have to glue this part. Okay. I guess it gets glued when it gets glued to the fuselage. So approximately 1mm, eh? Here we go. Oh. Yeah, more fiddle. Trying to judge 1mm, very difficult. And then the stickers want to stick on everything. It would have been easier, honestly, to arrange these two than to stick the stickers across them. I think that would have been a better way of doing this. Don't you know it's Christmas? Right, I'm going with that. And we got, there's our surface. Obviously that glue's got to finish setting. And then the final stage on this, and where I'm going to leave it tonight, this will be the end of my day 2 build, is to stick this on top of that. At no point does it say actually stick the front part of that plastic onto that part. It just says it goes over. Anyway, after that we go on to wing building, and that's going to be day 3. This is the top end. I reckon I can take this off now. So here we are. I think we need a little drop of glue underneath that just to hold that down. But if it's going to be glued here and here, it doesn't really matter. Now what I have done is I just chamfered that so it's flat, pretty much flat across the whole of that. Let's just give it a little bit more sandy, just to, because that's got to be a good contact for it. So I'm just making certain. And of course when you're putting any aero surfaces on, you want to make certain they're perpendicular. So this is going to go here. Again, it fits nicely. And once that's on, that's a good point to finish for the day. That's actually really nice. So under the mistletoe. We all know what happens there. You get prickles. Just getting that centered. Checking down the fuselage, looking down the sight of it, down the fuselage. And that looks pretty good. I'm sure once we get the rudder in as well, it will become even more perpendicular. And we've got movement there, that's okay. Yeah, I think we're good. And that is, I think we can take this blue tape off here and look at where we've got to today. That might need a little bit more blue there. It's pretty good. I think, you know, if you've got any little spots, then try and find a little red felt tip pen or something you could, just to cover up any little white bits that you don't want to see. Right, so that's all joined up. We've got a nice solid undercarriage. These blocks, at the end of it, we shape these, and I think there's a sticker to go over that as well. See, there's little bits of white here. I'll colour that in afterwards just to hide that. So I'm not perfect, I'm not making this perfectly. I'm just not that good. But there we go. It's becoming quite the little plane.